Why does Jerome Powell care about this data this morning?
Well, the Fed is watching inflation, and this is their favorite inflation monitor, PCE. Personal income data has dropped. It's up 0.4, which is the same as the prior month without revision.
Stocks lift.
And a little bit better than the 0.3 that was expected. I'm looking for the report, which did not
there it comes.
Load correctly. There we go. All right, personal spending up 0.1. That is worse than expected, and certainly down from the 0.8 the month before. But the numbers the Fed cares about are the deflator. PCE inflation on a headline basis up only 0.1, which is what was expected, compared with a 0.4 rise the month before. On a year-over-year basis, 3.8%, first time below the 4% level since the pandemic began. On a core basis, we are at 0.3 for the month, a little bit. Well, it's what was expected, a little bit less than it was last month, 4.6%. So it drops a little more on a base effect than had been anticipated. Personal income and spending had been revised. I said 0.8. It's been revised to a 0.6 gain in April. So the drop to 0.1 is not as big, but it is still somewhat interesting that Americans are spending a little less. Now, what I have to do is get the actual report.
I'm going to let you do that. Here, let me dive in. Did you find your service sector statistic?
I did find our service sector statistic, and it's actually pretty good news. The core services ex-housing, Jay Powell's number, drops to a 0.23 increase for the month of May from 0.42. It had gone up a little bit in April, and on a year-over-year basis, we're now at 4.53%. Down from 4.61. So some easing there. But one number that might concern the Fed, although there are people who are saying wages are not driving inflation now. But we did see wages rise 0.5%, the strongest amount since January.
I mean, and that goes to the jobs report, July 7th, where Mike will be here as well. You're here as well.
I'm actually off.
Lisa and Bramwell won't be back by then. We'll get somebody.
We'll call her up and.
What's your first look at? It's the first time I've asked this. What's your first look at employment, July 7th?
What's interesting is that, of course, we'll get a lot more forecasts in from economists as the week progresses. But right now, the expectation is we might see unemployment drop back from 3.7 to 3.6. And the forecast is for 200,000 jobs, which is interesting.
It's terrible.
After jobless claims yesterday, the total number went down.